Season 3 of The Past is here. I know it's long overdue. We have a new intro. We still got the same content. Well, actually, it's a little bit of new content because there's new things going on in 2019. So buckle up. We got a lot of things to talk about on The Past. Episode 236 of The Past is here. What's going on, y'all? I'm your host, BT, here to record with y'all on this Thursday afternoon. I have a special guest with me today. She's coming in new to the podcast scene and happened to link with me, and I told her I was going to be willing to invite her on the show. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Terri. I'm new to this, so I'm here to learn.
Okay. She is the newcomer. I have kind of given her the ins and outs and the breakdown of what podcasting is. So y'all bear with her. Don't come attacking the posts. Don't come saying nothing crazy because she getting a feel for the flow of, trying to get this thing going. Y'all know the promos. Y'all know the setup. Y'all know everything we doing. Usually I say I have a lot of topics. This week I kind of kept it a little chill because there was a lot of trade talk that happened. We'll get into that in a bit. But I did give her the information because since she is coming on the show as a listener, learner, she's also coming in with some input as needed or as helpful. And that's what it's a balance of coming in for. So, I have all the articles, and as you all know, as we follow the format, they're all listed in the show notes. The first story, I have the article. And I guess it's fun now with having someone on the show with me. I don't have to sit here and read word for word everything that's being said because a lot of it's kind of A to Z. Number one the first topic up was with LeBron. And let me ask, because I always like to do this since this is a sports heavy show. I'm assuming you're a sports fan.
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay.
Yeah. More a football fan, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So who's your football team?
I just divorced them.
I'm afraid to ask. I'm very afraid to ask. Who's your team?
Well, it was, and it was a terrible divorce. It was the Cowboys.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later because that's a whole different. We're gonna have that Cowboys tangent when we get to football. But be nice. I keep my professional thoughts to myself on my show. You're new to the show, so I'm giving you benefit of the doubt. So another superstar who coincidentally claims to be a Dallas fan in some sense. He does. He put the hat on and everything.
He claims.
If you wear the hat, you wear the star. You already know how you're giving it up. LeBron James is struggling in LA. He has been playing hot garbage majority. Well, let me step back. LeBron's been doing what he can do with the team he has. The team around him has kind of almost come off as being played or presented as hot garbage. Tell me more. You look like you got a response to this, because that's the dialogue I want. If you disagree or you feel it's different.
Well, no, I was gonna say you can only do but so much with what you got.
Okay.
You work with what you got.
You right.
And then he got hurt around Christmas, so
Yeah, that Christmas injury was huge to him, and yes. I think when that happened, they didn't think about life without LeBron.
Right.
So we're kind of, and this is something, and it's good you're doing this because this is what I normally do with a lot of these stories. I'll usually kind of give you the timeline of what got us to this point of this occurring. Mm-hmm. As we all know, last summer, big free agency, LeBron decides, okay, I'm going to go look at seeing what I want to do. Possibility I might leave Cleveland. Cleveland drafted the young bull, Colin Sexton. He's trying to help get LeBron in. LeBron says, no, I'm good. Philly was on the radar. Conversations came with LA, but he did it very subtle because he didn't do the decision like he did a few years ago. He just kind of said, all right, I'm going to LA. Makes the setup. His agent who works with LA, and then of course him and Magic had a good bond. Gets to LA, first few games, LA's looking somewhat okay, decent. Time progresses, and it was all right. They're starting to look like LA, and they were expecting the Showtime Lakers because there were a lot of other free agents picked up. Fast forwarding to kind of the quick points, like you said, Christmas time, he got hurt, and there was an uncertainty of how the Lakers would look. They looked like hot garbage, obviously, because everybody just kind of disappeared on their role. And then the infamous Anthony Davis rumors swirled about him possibly going to LA, since both him and LeBron had the same agent. They couldn't get a deal done in time, and so LeBron kind of sounded miserable. But it also was evident that changes were being made because he didn't like the lineup he had. Hold on. My bad, y'all. So we just mentioned about, or I'm kind of just giving you the catch up of the timeline. LeBron, they ended up not getting Davis. He comes not Jordan, because he has on 23. Not even close. And that GOAT conversation is out of control. LeBron plays, they realized they couldn't get the players they wanted. They couldn't get the trade done because they practically would have had to have given up at least the whole team to get Anthony Davis, which they almost were willing to do. Then LeBron comes back. He's, just about healthy. I think because he played through, we saw him in the All-Star game. Him and Anthony Davis both didn't play a lot of minutes. And so fast forward, you now have the Lakers on like the 8th, like practically in like a 9th or 10th seed, trying to figure out what they want to do or where they're trying to go. So now it's kind of clear the Lakers are moving on and accepting this is the year they won't make the playoffs.
Right.
So you have...
And this is like LeBron's like worst.
This one is worst season. Yeah. Because,
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, this has not been a good season for him based on, how he's been playing.
Yeah.
And just as a unit, I can't say it's not his fault, but then I can say it is, only because it's the reality of your career is going to go through its phase. And your Father Time is still undefeated. Because we got to remember, like, this is LeBron's, 16th season in the league. Came in, if you come in 2003, and I mean right now, so their record at this point, they're saying is 30-35. So they're like 6.5 games out of the final playoff spot. Lakers on a fight because they only have 17 as of the time of this article. They only have 17 games remaining. They have a couple of back-to-backs, so that's where the minutes restriction comes into play. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. You may know about it. So I always like to do a little bit of education to folks. Whenever teams are in back-to-backs, it can be a gift or it can be a curse, especially if the back-to-back is involved with you being on the road. So let's say in LA's case, they have a back-to-back in Houston and in Dallas. That means Wednesday you're in Houston, Thursday you're in Dallas, and you really don't get much of a rest time. So for him to go through this minutes restriction makes it understandable. And that's Bailey, in a 6 or 7 minute breakdown. That's what we are with this article, is that he is now on a minutes restriction, which is kind of making it clear they're moving on and accepting that this season is just a wash. Lonzo has kind of been shelved. They've said that they're kind of washing him away and looking to see what they're going to do next season. Then you have Brandon Ingram, who they say is out for the season. And everyone else, I mean, most of the guys who are on the 1-year contracts, I don't see them signing again next year unless there's a big name free agent coming up other than Anthony Davis. Because I don't know if Davis is going. I personally talked about it on the podcast before. I feel like Anthony Davis is a good player, but him and LeBron playing together is still a question mark to me. That's my best way of putting it. So that's kind of that story in its entirety. I know I kind of like ran with that one. I didn't really pass it to you too much, but you kind of got full of just. I know football you gonna jump in, but I'm waiting.
Well, yeah, because basketball, I have ADD, so.
No, I got you. I get it.
I just brushed up on that last night real quick after I got off work.
Got it. That's fair. No, I mean, podcast is about transparency, so I have no knock against that at all. So I'll give you one safe pass because you got that one, and you'll get this one for the LSU story. So I'll run this one a little bit. So Will Wade is an interesting story because a lot of people may know this. I may have mentioned this on the show before, but coincidentally, he previously coached at VCU. He was a men's coach, men's basketball coach of VCU a couple years ago. He came in, I want to say after Ben Simmons was drafted. They kind of made some changes at LSU and kind of made it clear they were moving on. So you fast forward, I think Will Wade, I don't know if he got let go from VCU or if he left VCU to take the LSU job. He got to LSU, and LSU is one of many teams involved with this FBI madness. And what makes it funny to me, because I did see another article that presented about he's trying to fight to get his job back. But as of right now, LSU has suspended him indefinitely because they don't want to touch what is going to come with this whole option of him, basically being part of a wiretap. Once you put FBI wiretap in the same sentence, it looks bad. Okay. It looks really bad. So this story, and she'll learn this with me too. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, from what I was reading, it was basically they suspended him because he doesn't want to talk about it with them.
Right. So and it looks bad, and see that makes it look even worse because if you're not giving any information, they're gonna look at it as
you have something to hide.
There's something going on, and it's bad because other coaches or coaching staff have been fired because of this situation. So it looks even worse. I get that they're trying to do the right, he's trying to, I don't even want to say he's doing the right thing. He's just trying to do whatever he can to save face. But it looks bad on his part to act like you don't know what's going on when the FBI is involved. It's not even about your coaching job. This could be jail time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's, depending on the extent of how this gets involved.
It looked like some of the transcript was released or something because they have some quotes and things or whatever out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of, and it's quote, and articles, I'm funny because I'll read an article and then by about, I don't have, it's not ADD. I think for me, it's just by a certain point, I'm like, because I've done the PowerPoint phase where people read stuff to me like I can't read, I'm like, look, read it on your own time. Like, just read what you can of it. From this article, there was a statement from the president stating, recent media reports regarding Coach Will Wade are without question concerning to us all. As such, we and university officials have taken deliberate and purposeful steps to fairly assess and adequately address the situation. As we have done since media reports first surfaced months ago, we are closely coordinating with the NCAA with every step. They have our full cooperation, and we will continue to report to them all facts and information in this matter. Wade then went on, as you mentioned, I cannot comment at this time on various media reports, except to say that they do not begin to tell the full story. I understand the university had to take action before all the facts are in, but I would ask everyone to withhold their judgment until the record is complete. Let's see. They gave a little bit of information about LSU's status. They're 15-2 in their division, in the SEC, or in their conference rather, and 25-5 overall. They kind of break down during the call. I was thinking last night on this smart thing. I'll be honest with you. I'm bleeping tired of dealing with the thing. Like, I'm just bleeping sick of dealing with the bleep. Like, this should not be that bleep complicated. I know typically I would say the words, and I know it's explicit content, but I'm not going to assume what they're saying because I guess they don't want to present it for sake of the content and because of the investigation. Will Wade continues on saying, dude, I went to the handler with a bleeping strong ass offer about a month ago. bleeping strong. The money part of it is what makes it bad, because they know that you can't have money be involved with trying to get players or
to play.
Right. And it's been a battle with college athletes for decades now. I feel like at first it didn't seem like a lot, but now it's gotten out of control because you can't manage every player. Like right now, and this makes the basketball scenario interesting because I already know what's going to happen with this. LaMelo Ball, who's the youngest of the Ball brothers, hasn't gotten an offer from any college. No college wants to touch him. And they already know everyone knows why they're not touching him. Like, it was so bad that there were a lot of high school teams that wanted to play against Spire, and they were like, no, we're not playing them because we don't want to mess up our chances of playing in like the big tournaments for Geico. And no, I'm not sponsored by Geico. But that being said, it's like when he graduates high school, he has a very weird decision to make because you have to be a year removed from high school. And the question becomes, does he go back overseas? Does he do what a lot of people think he's going to do, which is join the G League Select? But he can't go to college. No college is going to even deal with him because they know he's already played professional basketball. He's already played in the JBA league, which fell apart. I don't think it's going to be a second year of JBA. I've talked about it on here. I think I was very critical of the site or the business because they just didn't. They had weird practice. I'll put it like that.
Let me ask your opinion on this one. Do you think that college athletes should get paid something?
Yes,
I do too. Okay.
And that's the reason to give a backstory to it, and I want to wait this one out too heavy because the football action. It was a couple other trades that I didn't even write down or have as stories, but we'll get into all those. College makes a profit off of kids, first and foremost. This might have came up on another show. I can't really confirm the exact episode, but I know for a fact I've talked about it and looked at it as, if I am playing for said college makes hundreds, thousands, possibly millions of dollars off of me. I don't see a dime of that on the basis of you're giving me a scholarship. I'm not knocking your scholarship, but because of the way sports are, from the football perspective, it's more, they're giving those guys their money. Like, they're football players, you got to play at least 3 years. If I'm not mistaken, it's either 2 or 3 years if I remember correctly. Basketball, one and done. That's the one and done rule has been the rule of the law of the land that they're trying to change. It's being talked about now, and I can bring it. I'll go ahead and bring this in because since we're on college a little bit. Zion's supposed to be playing tonight against Syracuse. I don't think he's going to play. I know that's a weird way of saying it, but I don't feel like he's going to play another game for Duke. He's already thinking about the NBA. He's worth more in NBA factors than in Duke's factor. So it's like, if Duke isn't going to compensate an athlete for playing for said sport, and I'm sorry, if college isn't going to compensate said athlete for sport, then you shouldn't. It's just not a fair shake.
Yeah.
And I just always feel like that.
I mean, because I was in a band. I'm a band person.
Flute, alto, and tenor. But go ahead.
Yeah, clarinet.
I played
clarinet. I went to Norfolk State.
Oh yeah, you was up there. I stopped right at high school. Freshman year was out, done.
So I mean, the work that everybody puts in. Practice. I mean, athletes, band. I mean, I feel that college is more passionate. I mean, pro is passionate too, but when you're in college, you're more passionate. I mean, it's just so much passion. It's just so much more. How can I say? You're more. I don't see you're more dedicated. I think you are more dedicated.
You got a stronger drive.
Yeah. You have a goal. You're trying to achieve more.
Right.
And I feel that they should be compensated. You know. I mean, I don't just mean by a scholarship. I mean something. A wage.
Yeah, the wage.
You're working. You're really working.
Because the only thing that they do, and I don't even think they do this in college basketball. They did this in college football, and I still find it to be funny. If your team, and I'm using said team because I don't want anybody to come for me, even though I don't get them. I'm working on followers, listeners, whatever. Mm-hmm. If said team plays in national championship game, I can say, I mean, this part, because it's true. They've even brought these stories alive. Said college team gets said package of items that includes headphones, music, MP3 players. I know they don't do MP3 players now, but they've done it before. They give them like a lot of products that are very expensive products. Right. So you might as well just pay them. Yeah. You pay them, then that avoids you having even to go that route.
Certain colleges.
I'm out of it. I'm just going, okay. I'm listening to understand. Okay. You said certain colleges, they should pay them. Yeah, so that's where we are with the LSU story. Like I said, the article will be in the show notes if you want to check that out, as far as like the full rundown of Will Wade and what's going on with LSU. But
it's a lot of colleges that do that. It's just they had court.
Right now, I mean, Arizona, I've talked about it on here before. Arizona was in that same boat because they were like, their coach got suspended indefinitely because they wanted it. An investigation does not take a couple weeks for the FBI. Mm-hmm. They got to go into it and break it all down. And we've seen that with...
I work for the government. I know what it takes. Yeah. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't just go in and, I got you. No, they send people in. They do all kinds of stuff.
They got receipts, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They don't just come at you one time. They make sure they get you good.
Right. True. You hit the nail on the head. Oh, yeah. So we're jumping. We're going to swing over to football. I'll go ahead and get the big one out the way now, because this one, it was evident it was going to happen, but how it happened was unexpected because I wasn't even in town when this happened. When I saw the article on my phone, I was like, "Oh, so he really got traded." Last week, about this time last week, probably sooner, stories circulated that Antonio Brown was going to the Bills. The Bills came up and it kind of projected, there wasn't really any added information of who else was involved in the trade. It was just saying he was going to the Bills. Antonio Brown came out quickly and said, "Nope, ain't happening. Nah, that doesn't even sound right. That story is false. Let's go ahead and clear this up now." Trade died out overnight. Move a couple days later, other teams are coming in and saying, "We're not touching Antonio Brown. We feel like he's toxic to our team. He's going to be a prima donna." And I'm paraphrasing. I'm super freestyling with what I'm saying. But these other schools other teams were coming into the mix. And at a blind whim, spur of the moment, the Oakland Raiders. That's all I got. He went to the Raiders for a 3rd and 5th round pick. The deal that he's looking to get is he's expected to make $30 million guaranteed. The deal is possibly worth up to 3 years, $54 million. The Steelers' initial offer was 3 year, 38.9. Now I'm gonna bring them numbers. I'm bringing in now are going to be important for the next trade because numbers don't lie. The deal that the Steelers gave, none of that money was guaranteed. His agent, who is a big agent, Drew Rosenhaus, comes in. He's making it clear that this is a great fit. It'll help him. It also helps the Raiders because if you look at it, the Raiders are in a very special division. You have the Chiefs, who just got Flacco. You have the Chargers, who are what I call the November, December team of the NFL. The regular, like the first September and October, they disappear. They play how they think they might want to play. They may win some games, they may not. November, December, depending on how many games they won in September and October, factors in when they make the playoffs or not, which happened this year. And of course, there's Kansas City, which a lot of people think Kansas City got hosed because of Patriots trying to go to the Super Bowl. If we acknowledge the elephant in the room too, I don't think Brady's coming back next year. But that's another story.
I'm not talking about him.
Hey, you got 6 rings, so I can't be. You upset? Just understand. All right, so since you're here and since you're going there, are you the loyal Dallas fan? That's right. You wrote them off.
I've been trying to hold on. I was trying to hold on, but it was something that
But the player got caught smoking weed?
No, I don't care who smokes weed. Everybody should smoke and be happy. Okay. No, of course the owner or something he did that really just it was the straw that broke the camel back that I couldn't. I was like, no, I can't do it anymore.
The fact that y'all let dads go was a whole problem by itself. But that's another.
That was stupid.
Yeah, we not there. I'm just getting it clear.
But okay. It was the thing where and I don't want to be political about this, but when the guy was shot by a police officer, and the family just asked, could they acknowledge, asked could the team acknowledge what happened or whatever, and they didn't even respond. I'm like, that's just BS. How can you not respond? Not even you have my condolences on anything,
Right.
So I just wrote them off. I'm like, I'm getting a divorce.
Got it. Okay. that clears up even more. Okay. Makes sense now after you gave that rundown of it.
It was like, my dad, uncle, everybody just die hard. And I'm like, it was a family thing. And I was like, Daddy, I'm sorry. I love you, Dad.
Yeah. I 100% get it. But how do you feel like with Brown going to Oakland? Because my roommate asked me about this, and when I was having a conversation with her, it was teams on paper look good, but teams on field look different.
Right.
And that's my biggest concern. So how do you think? Because I'm hypothetically speaking, I think him and Carr could be a good 1-2 punch. But then we also saw what they did with Amari Cooper, so I don't know. And y'all got Cooper. He played pretty good last year.
It's one of those things I have to see.
Okay.
I have chemistry. I don't know.
Okay. Who do you think will have better chemistry? I know he's coming up. Do you think Carr and Brown or Mayfield and OBJ?
Oh my gosh. I was surprised. I was surprised on that.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Right. I think a lot of people got blown away by that one. But I'm gonna get some thoughts on that one when we get to it.
Yeah.
That's a whole That's a whole lot to unpack.
Oh yeah. I was like, did I just read that right?
Yeah, that's how it went down.
Oh, but this is just something I'm just gonna have to sit back and watch.
Okay, got it.
This is gonna be kind of exciting.
So the Raiders are in a, and I gotta make sure because the Raiders hive is a different level. Raider Nation is off the chain, so I gotta make sure.
My cousin used to play for the Raiders.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. After the Patriots got rid of him.
Oh, yeah.
He got a ring though with the Patriots though.
I mean, if you like it, put a ring on it. So, couple ways I'm gonna tackle this. One, I feel like it's gonna come down to what team they have on the field because there's uncertainty of what Marshawn Lynch got going on because he ain't really been. Granted, we haven't gotten to training camp. We haven't gotten to OTAs and all that stuff yet because we're still waiting. We just finished the Combine, which I have a love-hate relationship for the Combine. I think the Combine is great, but I think it's funny that I got to sit and watch people run 4.4 40s or 4.8 40s, which means nothing because when the guy gets on the field, if he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL, we don't remember his 40. Right. We don't know how much he bench pressed. We don't care. Mm-hmm. But I get that it's content, it's media, and it's coincidental because I listened to this on another podcast. You have to know how to be a journalist. And I never knew it until I started podcasting and really after listening to that message. depending on your topic or your content, and this is good advice for you too. Mm-hmm. Your content factors in whether you're the tabloid or you're the journalist. Because if you're the tabloid, you're TMZ, The Shade Room, World Star, shows that I don't use as sources on my podcast. Right. But I don't knock them because that's, they're getting information how you get it. But when it comes to doing like raw data or raw information, I like to make sure that I'm giving you the real information. Yeah, because when the Antonio Brown story hit, if I didn't do research and give it time, he on the Bills, and I've been like, no, let me wait because
then you have to go back and redact and retract your story.
And I hate that because like a couple years ago, that happened when the whole Kyrie Irving thing went down. It was like, Irving's he wants out of Boston. These teams on the list. I mean, he wants out of Cleveland. These teams on the list, and it just kept circulating. And then I was like, okay, let me wait until the story hits. When the story finally hit, all right, he's with Boston. Then I can talk about it. But with Brown being in Oakland, I feel like they're going to make noise. But if that becomes the case, something in that division has to change. Because as with the division goes, how the chemistry or how the lineups switch. So that means in this case, Kansas City would have to have an awful year, which is not going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah, but I like their quarterback because I feel like he about to get a sick contract in a couple years because they've mentioned it like he might become one of the highest paid QBs, which is early. Because he played for him to carry that team the way he did. I can't knock it. Flacco, I got concerns with Kansas City. With Denver. I'm not really too certain with him yet. That's just my early hot take. Phillip Rivers is an OG. Rivers is one of your OG quarterbacks in the NFL who could play good today and forget to play football for like the next 4 weeks and be okay with it. Because he's still getting paid and he's handling, taking care of family. So then that leaves Oakland, which John Gruden has good coaching tendencies, but he's been doing hot garbage. Like last year, he looked awful. No one really wants to say it. And again, Raider Nation, come for me, address it, whatever. But I just feel like he was not with it last season. Which brings me to my next trade, or my next free agent acquisition, which is even more odd because this is the division that I despise. I'm going to talk about the Patriots in this division, and you'll understand why. Le'Veon Bell got paid. He's joining the Jets. So as many of you who are football fans know, you're looking at the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins, Patriots. So just keep those 4 teams in mind as we break this all down. He got a 4-year contract, 4-year, $52.5 million contract. This includes $35 million guaranteed. He's looking at up to $61 million in incentives. He did make the announcement on social media, since we're in the social media era. Luckily, he got this off before before Instagram and Facebook went down. He set out the entire year based on his franchise tag because he really did not want to be franchised. The tag was for $14.5 million. He was basically missing almost $1 million a game, which is a lot. Yeah. Even as an athlete, unless you can afford to do that, that's a lot of money. Now, if you got sponsorships in the cut, props to you. There were other teams who were interested. You had the 49ers who were looking. The 49ers are one of the other big teams who were interested in getting him. His average salary per year with the Jets would be $13.13 million, and it would be behind Todd Gurley's $14.37 million. And they kind of give a backstory of the Jets and how they look. So I'm gonna ask your opinion on this in a second. Okay. But I'm gonna. This is the other part, because this is with the money thing. Let me mention this before I forget. He turned down a 5-year, $70 million offer of what he called a low true guarantee of $17 million, and decided he was going to miss games because of that offer. So if you're looking at that time frame, You say what, 5 year 70 million versus what we did, 4 year 52 and a half. I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh was gonna pay him, but he I think him and Brown saw something in Pittsburgh that no one outside the organization saw for them to make that type of a move. Now, granted, I know they hadn't won a Super Bowl in an eternity because neither one of them have won one. Because the last Super Bowl they won was with Ben and I can't even remember who the wideout was back then. Because they had like a core lineup.
I remember when it was a while ago.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, because I think Mike Tom. I mean, I know it's been since Tom has been coached, but
it's been a
minute.
Mm-hmm.
So you fast forward to now. Brown wants to leave. Bell wants to leave. And the Jets? The Jets is where I'm stuck. So now I'm gonna go back to my divisional bias. Nothing against Dallas. I hated Dallas's division. I also hated New England's division. But I hate them for different reasons. And I talk about this on this podcast every time football season occurs. New England is guaranteed 6 wins a year. That's the 2 games against each of these teams. I mean, the 2 wins against the 3 teams in their division. They'll 5-1, 6-0. I've rarely seen a 4-2. Y'all division or formal division, if a team comes out 3-3, if a team came out 4-2, 5-1, or 6-0, something was wrong that year. Because everybody beats each other up. It's a natural cause between Washington, Dallas, Giants, and Philly. So coming back to this trade or to this free agent acquisition, which he will have officially signed yesterday, because I think free agency started yesterday, like where players could actually sign contracts. I don't know if the Jets getting 3 divisional wins is going to be tough off the rip. Depending on who they beat. Because they're not going to get the 2 against New England. I'm sorry.
They might
if Brady retires.
Yeah. Because he's like the golden child.
Well, we talked about this. I talked about this with somebody at work yesterday, and it's a true statement. Rules got changed in sports because of certain players. He was one of them. He's the reason why technically quarterbacks should be wearing a red jersey at all times and just never get hit or play flag football. One of the two. Because that year he got hurt in week 1 against Kansas City. They made sure they changed every rule. You can't touch the quarterback. You can't push the quarterback. You can't put a finger on nothing. And that's something I need to look up too. And I didn't check or factor this in. The quarterback for the Jets, will he use Le'Veon properly? That's important. Because Ben kind of knew how to use Le'Veon. Because you look at it, you had a 3-headed monster in Pittsburgh. The problem was, and I think it's age, but it's also reality, Ben held the ball too long. He was known for holding the ball too long. Now that's in the passing sense. Now running sense, Le'Veon gonna do what he can, but it's also trying to find that balance in running and passing. There was a year that they were supposed to go to the Super Bowl with all 3 of them, and that was that was New England surprise one where they made their random run again. So it's there, but I know I've asked and said, I guess how do I feel about the Jets? I feel like right now the Jets could win 8 games. I'll give them 8. And going back to the Raiders, I'll give the Raiders 7. I feel like 7 and 9. And that's a reach. Only because I need to see, because they haven't unveiled the actual schedule. The schedule is important. Yeah. And I think neither team plays Pittsburgh, so that sucks. I know the Raiders don't. Because I would love to see it preseason or regular season.
Yeah.
So Bell, you think it's high hopes or low hopes for Bell?
Well, I think it's high hopes.
Okay.
High, yeah.
Do you feel like he's going to make a big impact year one, or do you feel like they're not going to use it?
I would just say I don't think they're gonna
let him run wild.
No, they're gonna try to pull his reins.
Okay.
Most people try to control people. You know, to show who's in control or whatever.
Tell me more.
You know, it's one of those things like, yeah, we're gonna show you who's in control, and then once we show you, you know, but he's gonna try to be defiant.
Okay.
So I don't know. It might be a little tug of war going on there.
Gotcha. All right.
We'll see. I like to see it play out.
And the quarterback, by the way, for the Jets is Sam Darnold. I think he's a rookie. I feel like he's a rookie. I don't know.
Oh, so I don't know him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's a rookie. No, not a rookie. This will be his second year coming up because he just got through his rookie season.
Oh.
Where he got thrown to because and as a fan of football, you should know this, and you probably already do. When quarterbacks are drafted, half the time they're thrown to the gauntlet. Prime example, even with Romo going through what he went through, when Dak got there, everybody knew Dak was going to be starting one point or another. Mm-hmm. They just needed to see something happen, and obviously a lot happened. Mm-hmm. Now, like, Romo is a better analyst than a quarterback. He can break down film better than anybody I've seen, which is shocking. Because when he played, and there's no knock. I'm just speaking on what I've seen. Mm-hmm. You could see it when he played. Like it was just like in his play versus his analytics is like night and day.
Yeah.
So we got our big story because this one still blew my mind because it literally just happened yesterday, or not yesterday, or like Tuesday. It was quick when it happened. I was like, wait. He just talked about, they just made the mention that he wants out. And the speculation or the idea was, well, let's get him out of, a team that might be good for him is he go to San Fran. Everybody puts San Fran on the radar too. I always notice that. I guess it's salary. I don't know. But he is going to the Cleveland Browns. Odell Beckham Jr., by the way. I said OBJ. I didn't really give his name, but OBJ is not having it. I think him and Eli, it was a good run, but I mean, it was a good run.
Yeah,
they had for the fun point. This season was rough. Last season was rougher because Eli has sailed past his prime. It's time for him to sail on. Because if you look at it, Peyton hit his point. When Peyton knew what time it was, that's why Denver was the best option. Because the Colts were not going to work with trying to do anything for him. So that's why he went to Denver and obviously got Andrew Luck, who's been playing good, but everyone's expectations is you're supposed to win the Super Bowl, but people fail to realize there are 32 teams in football. It's still only one championship. Yep. And there's some teams that will never get a championship. I feel like Carolina might be one of them. And even as a fan, I hate it. Because the two chances we had was Janet and Peyton. But that's all. That's all in the past. He was traded for the Browns' first round pick, which would be number 17. And also their second and third round pick from the draft. That reads so weird. The Giants will receive the Browns' first round pick and third round pick in next month's draft, along with safety Jabril Peppers. Beckham said, based on the trade, wow. A source told Pat McMahon that the Browns and Giants will combine last week's trade and the Beckham deal into one. The terms will have the Browns getting Beckham and Vernon for Zeitler, Peppers, and the picks included in the Beckham trade. The swap of 4th and 5th round picks earlier agreed to the Vernon Zeitler trade will not be part of the final trade. This works out good because he gets to play with Anderson, his former LSU teammate Jarvis Landry, because they did play together at LSU.
I had read that he had just signed an extension, $95 million extension with the Giants back in August of 2018. Yeah. So, will they just dissolve that? I mean,
so how that works in most cases is the Giants got to eat that.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of teams. So because in most sports, depending on and it's all on how your new contract is structured. If it's all right, we'll pay him, and whatever y'all are supposed to pay him, he's still getting that money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, they didn't, and if anyone is listening to the show, correct me, because I want to make sure I'm thinking of it as such. Because he's still, like, the NFL is so weird with money. Because it's like you have contracts that players sign, and if they are or aren't satisfied, the team usually doesn't say, hey, y'all handle this. Because he's got a new deal now. Because this is a whole new setup with them. I don't know how to feel about this trade though, because it's still the Browns.
Yeah.
But Baker Mayfield was good last year.
They did better. I was surprised.
But they did better after the coach left.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, they did much better than I think a lot of people really wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I was surprised. Mm-hmm. But this was even more. I'm like, what? I'm still surprised. I was like, is this fake? Is this?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it was a deal.
Yeah. I mean, I know he do weird stuff, but.
So now we're turning this to their division, and if I remember their division, it's Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh starting over. Ben's going to retire in a couple years, if not after this year. Baltimore has made it clear that Lamar Jackson is their guy, which I think is going to hurt them because they're setting him up for failure. Someone brought this to my attention, and I never thought about it, but it's a realistic statement, and this is probably going to a whole different tangent about football, but I'm going to say it because I can. Mm-hmm. Black quarterbacks don't get set up very well in the NFL at all.
Very few.
And it's all right. And that's obviously why I don't want to go down this road, because it hasn't even come up as a conversation, but I'm going to say it anyway. That's why Cap may not be playing for a while. Because Cap could have been picked up by a team.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they're trying to prove a point without proving a point. And it's not even on the basis of teams not trying to target him, but it's more so we're just not going to draft. We're not going to put anything in place to get him on our team.
Well, I thought part of the settlement was that he was going to be on a team.
It would be nice.
I thought part of the settlement was like, I forgot which team it was.
I know teams have been mentioned. If it can happen, and if I was like speaking good energy, mm-hmm. I would like to see him in Carolina. Because him and Cam working together would be a good mm-hmm. balance, but you don't see that type of setup in pro football. You saw it in college where it's like, okay, you'll start some plays, I'll start. They're going to probably keep Cam as starter, but then have Cap available as needed. Because I know Cam was supposed to be getting shoulder surgery. I don't know the full story with that. I think they say he'll be back by start of season, if I remember correctly. But all that being said, this kind of goes into what I said before about a quarterback coming in, and the first year you have to be ready to play. Like, I don't even think the Browns had like 2 or 3 games under their belt and they put Baker Mayfield in. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Mayfield produced. He won both games against the Bengals, because I think that's where their head coach ended up going. Oh, and that's the other part. So yeah, you got, and that's because I was making a tangent about black QBs, because I feel like Jackson is in a tough spot with Baltimore. I don't know how it's going to work, but this year is going to be the full year of seeing what he has and how it's all come together. Then you have Cincinnati, who's kept Andrew Dalton for like 50 years, and Dalton hasn't won. And it's been like, I think they finally pulled the trigger, which was scary, that they actually let Marvin Lewis go. I was surprised. I was not expecting it, but things happen. This is going to be the rehab year for Cincinnati. So I pushed Cincinnati back. Browns, I can see is probably being like second in that division. but that just means that either the Steelers are going to be trash, which I feel like they are, or the Ravens are going to be the hot team. Because the Ravens can always get away with playing mediocre offense, solid defense. That's always been their MO. That's why anytime when the Steelers play the Ravens, it's always a low scoring game. At least from what I've seen. Wins, I'll say, and it's tough because the Browns, but I might be reckless. Because I know it's going to haunt me because when I do, on my show, I always do weekly picks. And I pick against the Browns every week. But I feel like they might go 9-7. I'm going 9-7. That's a stretch.
I want to see them first. I gotta see it. I want to see. This is going to be very interesting.
It is.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll run its course pretty good. So that's our sports. Stuff is always different. I know stuff was like random because you're probably looking at like, what are all these weird stories and where they come from? But I didn't get many stories because I really haven't been into my stuff bag like I normally do. Well, before I do that, because I'll switch up music section. Because normally I'll add a section for music section, like any new music you have or haven't been listening to. You listen to a lot of music?
I listen to everything.
Okay, what's the latest new album that you listened to? Did you listen to 2 Chainz?
No, I listened to
Solange.
J. Cole, Middle Child.
Okay.
I was listening to that the other day. I haven't listened to Solange. I heard it was good. I heard Indiana Reed's new album is good too. That just came out.
I need to listen to it. I started on T-Pain's album. It was pretty dope. A lot of people said they didn't like it, and I guess it's, if it doesn't flow with your vibe, I get it. I did, like I said, 2 Chainz album was good. I've OD'd Solange's album, even though it's short. It's a short album.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's like 39 minutes. A lot of people get mad because they're like, I feel like it's a teaser to something coming. Okay. That's just how I'm thinking of it offhand. And I'm doing the music session different because I use Spotify.
I do too.
I'm a Spotify junkie.
I listen to Spotify too.
If you haven't already, and I always recommend this to people, if you're looking for good chill music, Lo-fi.
Lo-fi?
Yes. If you listen to that, like matter of fact, when you was going to get water and you came back and you heard that music, that's Lo-fi.
Uh-oh.
Lo-fi is just like some background noise. I don't want to say, because I'm tempted to say you can get away with playing it like naturally, but I think a lot of copyright, I don't take chances. But for the most part, Lo-fi is a good flow.
Okay.
We mentioned the Spotify, and I'm talking about it a little bit because a couple weeks ago, and this will give you a tech, because I'm a tech whore. Sorry, I'm gonna say it like it is.
I like gadgets.
Yeah, I'm a gadget. Yeah, gadget. No, I mean, I'm like, I don't have it today, but normally I'm always wearing my watch. People, before I did podcasting, I had everything just as random and all over the place. Now it's all Apple. I just did the whole Apple vibe, and it stuck. But I do know I have friends, and I still support what Samsung does, because I think Samsung, if it wasn't for Samsung, I wouldn't have did Apple. Like I had like the last Galaxy I had actually was the Note 4, and I thought it was a great phone.
I never had a Galaxy.
I had the Note 4, I had the S3. I'm sitting here thinking I had the Evo, but I didn't. A friend of mine had the Evo, but I went through my Android phase for a while. And I tell people now I balance out, because even though I'm a big Apple guy, if you're in my house, I got a Chromecast. So I'm an Android Chromecast. I got my Alexa. Love my speaker. Like that's a godsend. I don't care what the other. I think I got the Echo. No, I got the Alexa, the bigger one. And a friend of mine, I have a Dot that I'm trying to get from him, like the Echo. And that's just kind of been my way of mixing it up. But Spotify is actually a couple weeks ago, the S10 came out. Mm-hmm. Galaxy S10. Everybody was on like, oh, Galaxy S10, great phone. And it's a great phone. Don't get me wrong. But when they brought the S10 out, it came with, and I don't know if the pre-sale is still set up that way, but it came with the Galaxy earbuds. which a lot of Apple people were jealous of because they're like, well, we bought our phones, why we ain't getting no AirPods? And it's a good question. But what Galaxy has done now is they're going to have Spotify pre-installed, which I think is great because Spotify, if there's a streaming service that will work good for Galaxy, it will be Spotify. Because obviously you're not putting iTunes, you're not going to do Tidal. And I only say you're not going to do Tidal for pricing purposes. Because what can happen is once that Spotify deal ends and you're like, oh man, my service over, pay the $10 a month. You good. Like I got introduced to Spotify in a weird manner, and I even talked about it in my year review podcast, episode 226, by the way. I remember that episode. Don't ask me why. Because I talked about a lot of stuff on that show. But I was talking about the conversion from iTunes to Spotify. iTunes is a good source for listening to a lot of music. Don't get me wrong. But Spotify, like, I had somebody give me like a 3-month promo. I haven't looked back. I just love what Spotify is doing. And now with them implementing the podcast feature in, which you can also check out the past on Spotify, it works. That's how I do my plug, by the way, because I don't really. I'm a quiet plugger. That's something I'm still working on, is taking those risks. But this free premium offer that Spotify and Samsung are partnering to do will allow you to get 6 months of the premium subscription service for free. But there are a couple of catches. It's only available to new Spotify users. So if you already have a premium subscription, have had it in the past, or previously used a free trial, you won't be able to cash in on the 6 months free. It's only offered to Galaxy. The offer is only made to Galaxy S10 owners in the US. The devices will be pre-installed with S10, S10 Plus, S10e, S10 5G, Galaxy Fold, and the select Galaxy A models. And then they give a little bit of information about Samsung's Spotify being the favorite app for Samsung. A lot of people I know have Samsung, but I rarely hear them talk about Spotify. But I know folks who are Apple users who don't use iTunes.
I use Spotify.
Ever since you see it on my laptop. On my laptop now. That's one of my go-to.
I even have it on my smart TV.
Yeah, it's a must-have. The one thing that Spotify does right that I think other streaming services do wrong, and this is my opinion, is if I'm playing Spotify on my tablet and I want to play it somewhere else, I don't have to pull it up strictly on that product. If it's like, let's say I'm at home and I have my Echo or my Alexa or whatever. If I'm in the room and it's like, I don't want to listen to it on here, I want to listen to it on my speaker, I just pull up and it'll say, okay, what device you want to play it on? Oh, on the speaker? Cool. I'm good. I'd rather have that feature than to be limited. And it's no knock against Apple. I always say this all the time because I'm across the board, but it's honesty. The Apple Home speaker or whatever, I didn't like it because I think if you're going to make a product that only is beneficial for an Apple user and it's not a Bluetooth speaker, I don't see the point about it. Like when I went out of town last weekend, I'm mad I don't have it with me, but it's just one of those things. Getting like a simple speaker, I bought a JBL Charge. I got one too. Oh, it's the best speaker.
I got the one that look like a lava lamp.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's waterproof.
Yeah, that one is pretty dope. But ever since I got into the JBL wave a couple years ago, bought my JBL, and headphones on Beats, biased, but speaker wise, I will get a JBL speaker in a heartbeat. I even got the bigger one, the Extreme. Extreme, I'm surprised I ain't got kicked out of somebody's living arrangements yet. Because when I went to Maryland, I put the speaker on the table and they were like, "Oh, okay, you got the speaker." So I'm like, we playing music, and they were like, "That's the like, can they go on it loud? I was like, that ain't even like halfway loud. And when you turn up, they're like, oh, that joint really loud. I'm like, that's just that side speaker. Like, so some people, even just the flip is a pretty convenient and simple speaker. So that's that story. I know that was like a tangent from Samsung, but yeah, if you're getting Samsung, I mean, if you're looking to get a Samsung device, you've never used Spotify before, and you want to try a streaming service, they're offering you 6 months free. You can't beat it. But if you already got Spotify, you already know what time it is. I'm going to lead this story, and I know you got a lot of input on this. Because I'm upset, because I wish they would have got my money. I mean, I wish it would cover my joint.
Man, let's not talk about college. I don't want to talk about your student loans.
Oh, my joint's still chilling. So Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. And this was an interesting stuff story for me, because typically, like I told you, music, tech, video games, things of that sort. This one sticks to me only because it's important to look at how money plays a role in society. And that's kind of the cleanest way to put it.
Yes.
There was a scam that was being done of getting students admitted to elite universities as recruited athletes, regardless of their athletic abilities, and helping potential students cheat on their college exams. And this was involving Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. And it's them including about 50 people with a $25 million college entrance scam. Authorities said the FBI investigation, codenamed Operation Varsity Blues, uncovered a network of wealthy parents who paid thousands of dollars to a California man who boosted their children's chances of gaining entrance into elite colleges. This one got me, such as Yale and Stanford. They mentioned the list. It was one site that showed the list of all the colleges, and I'm like, why y'all could have came, I ain't gonna say my school. You already mentioned yours, but they probably didn't heard me talk about it before. By paying people to take tests for their children, bribing test administrators to allow that to happen, and bribing college coaches to identify the applicants as athletes.
And changing SAT
scores.
Stuff. Like they said, one child's score was bumped up like 400 points and stuff like that. I'm like, what in the world? And one parent paid like millions for their kids and stuff like that. That is ridiculous. And they're complaining about affirmative action. That affirmative action is taking kids' slots and stuff like that. No, those people are taking kids' slots. Those ones right there. Affirmative action is just making sure that people of color get the opportunity. You still have to have the grades and everything to get into.
Yeah, we got to work for it too.
Yeah, but those people didn't work for anything.
They just they put the money. We
put in the sweat, tears, and time and everything else.
So,
oh my God.
No, you good. No, that's why it's the past. That's why I let you have it. No, that's important to bring to attention, because for something of that extreme to have happened, money had to be involved.
Right, and I'm quite sure it's been going on for decades.
Absolutely.
I mean, not even decades. I mean, probably. I mean,
it's been at least a decade or two.
Well, you know what? And I'm not even gonna put anybody's name out here. Mm-hmm. And because by what I'm about to say, we're all gonna know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. When you have to bully people not to release your college transcripts and stuff like that, right. You know it's been going on for at least 40, 50 years.
Right. Yeah. It's been a game.
When you would say don't release my high school or college transcripts, you know somebody's been paying for you to get through high school and college.
Right. That's true. That's real. A lot of things.
It's just terrible. I mean, and then if you have money to do that, why not just pay for your kids to go to a tutor so they can actually do the grades and stuff? Why not pay for your kids to go have these extracurricular activities and do these things so they can, better themselves? Because it's making the kids, do the kids even know that you're doing this for them?
Yeah, that's true.
And then if the kids do know, what does that say about the kids? Right. And if the kids don't know and then they find out that later
that
on.
Has been paid for, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh wow, I wasn't really smart. I'm dumb as a rock. I mean, what?
So,
how does that? I mean,
so I'm gonna try to, because I want to make sure. Well, wait, before I answer, I want to make sure you got everything out, because my way of how I do my podcast is I like to let people ask everything, and this is something that I've done with my life, because this will probably be a passing message, but I'm gonna share it in more in depth. There are those who are gonna listen to respond, and there are those who are gonna listen to understand. I always like to understand. I had to learn that because of doing this, so I'm understanding everything that you said. So that's why I was like, I want to make sure I don't leave nothing off the table of what you said.
Right. I'm finished. That was my little rant. All right. There. Questions.
Because it was and so most of your questions were rhetorical, or you want to answer some? Because some of them I can kind of break down.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna try my best because I want to make sure I didn't skip anything.
Okay.
A person paying someone to pay for them to get education the illegal way is done because I don't want to acknowledge that my child is stupid. That's my opinion.
Denial.
Yeah. Wow. That denial is key, because if I feel like I have the smartest child in the room, even though my child is dumb as a brick, because regardless of where you place a person, that person is going to be known for who they are and what they do on their own.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Light bulb.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's that we're successful, so my kid has to be successful too mentality. And I know my kid doesn't have the sense God gave Cabbage, but we're going to have to at least make it look like they have that sense.
Yeah, because if I'm the CEO of Best Buy, I'm
just throwing something out
there.
Yeah,
I'm just, because it's random, because I'm sitting here like, I know goodness well I ain't my place, but I'm the CEO of Best Buy. And I'm married to, matter of fact, no, I'll be petty in that, because they're not together, but I can make this a cool story. Jeff Bezos and his wife have a child. Child goes to school. Child gets to high school, 2.5 average. Can't play a lick of a sport. Ain't got the sense of a pencil. Lazy. But is somehow getting into Yale or Harvard. Jeff Bezos is a millionaire, billionaire. He's the richest man right now. One of the richest men. I know this is him and the wife and all that, but whatever. If I can make it be presented that we're good, I don't want it to be publicly known in the real world's eye that my child is dumb as shit. And here's why. Social media has dominated our life on so many levels now, more than it did 20, 30 years ago. 20, 30 years ago, nobody cared what people did. People cared, but it was never presented the way it is now. Going back to what we talked about before with a lot of the athletes being traded or people being on minute restrictions or issues being publicly announced. If a media person came to somebody and say, how do you feel about this? And they say, I feel like da 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 da. A valid story was wrote, this person feels da 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 da. Now, I'm going to paraphrase it, but I'm going to say what they said, but I'm going to give it that look of, let me post it online so that way when the internet sees it, they can give comments and get feedback. Going back to the person, child in school, if it's presented that my child is a smart child and goes to Yale, it's going to get exposed at Yale. And if it doesn't get exposed at Yale, it's going to get exposed in some point of their career. Because if you're getting a degree in IT and you don't know how to fix a computer, it looks stupid. Just the truth. Like, I have a degree in computers, and I see people that do jobs that work on computers, and I'm like, here's my computer. I can do this myself. Like, I can do way more than what you're doing. But it's also what comes with what you're doing. So there's that part of it. Another part that you mentioned, and we got to get to the ads a week. I forgot.
Okay.
This is a good topic. Blacks are always going to be in a challenge to try to enhance because people have to enhance their brand every day. Humans, and I've always done the brand story on here. If people go back and listen to shows, I always bring up how important your brand is. As a person, we all have brands. It's a white person's brand and a black person's brand are totally handled differently. Because the black person has to work twice as hard to enhance their brand. You can enhance your brand by doing all the right things, but if someone finds one bad thing, we're in this era. Remember, like I just said about social media, I can go back and find, I remember Brian posted this tweet back in like 2012 when he said da 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 da, and it's like, you don't know where that came from. You don't know what mindset I was in. You don't know what I could have been talking about. It's like posting things like, you follow me on Facebook. I can post the chill, deep, in-depth thoughts, and then I can post a lyrical song in a second. And then, like, somebody was like, Brian, did your page get hacked? No, it was a song. Like, relax. It's okay. And these people who know me. But it's like, it's how things are interpreted. So bringing it back to this, what happens sometimes is these folks, and Homegirl, the two chicks that was the big names involved with this, they're trash. Like, if once this all gets exposed and they end up having to get time, I hope they get what they deserve. Because it's messed up, because there are people right now who are sitting on loans, frustrated as all outdoors, who would like to, I raise mine too, who are trying to figure out what to do and what's the next step. And the transparent answer is, I don't know. But I'm also like trying to get what I can get done the right way to not get screwed over. So it's like, for them to get that pass or to get that benefit,
they're not going to jail. If anything, they'll have community service and pay a fine.
But if it was, you think, so I'll ask you this, and we'll go into the next topic. If it was a black person, do you think it would be treated differently?
Of course. You know, there are two justice systems.
If it was a black celebrity, would it be treated differently?
Of course.
If it was a black millionaire celebrity?
Of course.
I don't see it.
They would. I'm telling you, it will be a black millionaire celebrity and a black person will be treated differently, but the same.
Okay.
Black people have a different justice system, regardless.
Oh,
it just depends on how much money you have. The
to
level,
work it.
Yeah.
Right. No, I got you.
Like,
okay.
Example, Kwame Kilpatrick.
Okay.
You know, what was he, the mayor of Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Paul Manafort. Okay. Both of them got money. Both of them charged the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kilpatrick got 14 years in jail for doing the same thing that Manafort did.
Right.
Manafort, got 7.5 years?
Mm-hmm.
14 years versus 7.5 years for the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Two justice systems.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. No, I just hope that they, like, something like this, I hope the right justice is presented. That's all I'm asking for.
We always hope for the best.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm always the good energy idiot. I'm sorry. That's just me. I just look at it as, and then I guess I'm looking at it in hindsight too. If it's not presented or addressed in that immediate scope, cool, no problem. You got to live with it, number one. Number two, how spirits and how energies are, it always comes back and bites you in the end.
Yeah,
whether you realize it. Karma's undefeated.
Right. I mean, I believe in, this is me. I hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Okay.
So I always hope for the best. I hope that everybody gets what they deserve. Okay. But reality always ends up winning.
Reality will let you know what time it is, and that's without reality TV. That's true. Okay. All right, so our ass of the week
really is a big one.
Because this one, all right. So let me give you. I'm gonna give you the backstory of how ass of the week triggered. Because I would do shows, and I used to record, and I'm sitting here like, all right, I'll close out and talk about some stuff. But then when I went to doing my rebrand, because I was initially Bright Tape Podcast, and I went to the past podcast, I was like, let me take off the P, ass of the week. So I would come up with like the craziest stories for ass of the week. When I told people I was doing ass of the week, don't come for me, y'all. majority of people thought Trump could have been ass of the week every week. And I'm like, okay, yes, we know that. But I want to get stories and news that we never hear about, that no one would think is true. And I make sure that this is, again, another journalism 101. Because I'm not going to just get a story and I'm like, okay, this is a hoax or this is fake. Like, I make sure it's like a real story. Now, I usually do pass of the week if someone passed. But if it's a fun week or something crazy, ass of the week, hands down. Our ass of the week, majority of our ass of the week usually comes from Florida. No surprise. But this one actually did not expect Minnesota. But hey, Minnesota and Domino's. And that is why the title is called Domino's Gone Wrong. That's what because I always try to give you what the title is and find a way to give you something like to walk away or remember. But a woman named Holly Webb, who's 59 years old, was accused of pulling a gun on Domino's employees when they forgot to include chicken wings. Now, when I first was telling people this story, I thought it was hot wings, just being funny. But I was like, I'm just going to roll with it. Let me just read the whole article and just see what happened. According to police, a woman confronted employees at a St. Paul Domino's and said she was angry about the food delivered to her house. That's when I got confused, because it was delivered. It wasn't even like she was in the store and they did it and it was wrong. They delivered this to your house and you had thoughts to say, okay, they messed up my order. Let me get it straight. I'm going to get in my car and drive to the facility and go sicko mode. All right, we're going to roll on with it. She demanded a refund. Demanding a refund is understandable, and allegedly pulled out a handgun. But when an employee called 911, Webb left in her vehicle, the television station reported. Police located the vehicle outside the suspect's home and took her into custody. So here's why she gets ass of the week. Oh, police said Webb admitted to displaying the handgun, but denied she pointed it at anyone. One, they have cameras. Don't be stupid. Like, let's just put this all on the table. So I'm going to unpack this, and if you want to give any input, if I leave something out, please let me know. You got the wrong order, or they missed something in your order. You got in your car with a gun, drove to the facility, say that, hey, I want a refund, y'all better give me my money, break yourself, whatever. Get back in the same car that after you've already committed your crime. Not decide, let me go somewhere else to kind of chill and gather my thoughts. I'm going to go back to my house with my gun and chill, and ain't nothing going to happen.
First of all, she looked mad in that picture anyway. Oh, yeah, her mugshot is like straight.
The mugshot told everything. But her mugshot looked like it was hot wings. I'm sorry. I'm not sold that it couldn't have been no regular wings. And it's Domino's. Domino's not high quality pizza. Like, it's bad because no knock, because at my job they did give us, they had like pizza and like sodas for something. It was like, hey, if you want to get a couple slices, cool. It was Domino's. And usually I'd be like, I'm all right. No, it's free.
Yeah.
But Domino's? Okay. Domino's is like not even.
You hop in your car. You could have got in your car in the first place and went and got your stuff. Evidently, you were just being lazy, but then you got so mad that you was gonna get up and go.
But you didn't say this you couldn't say it to the deliverer because he's already gone.
Right. So,
but you usually would check food.
But then you could have just called and said, gotta get it, so next time y'all
bring it
or whatever, or make them come back and bring it or whatever. But now you got charges. Only God knows if you're ever gonna get any more Domino's.
Right? Yeah, because now you look stupid and you're trying to get your life right.
You know, over some wings.
Yeah, that was
gonna be the most expensive wings you ever had in your life.
$10,000 wings.
Because then you gotta post bail, you gotta pay court fees, you might go to jail, have to do community service. She gonna get a wrist ankle bracelet.
You have impossible, like you're facing a felony.
Yeah,
that's the part of it.
That's on wings.
You brandish a firearm. Got it.
Oh my God.
All right, we'll let you be great.
That's it.
It's
crazy.
So those are our topics. I do this at the end of the show. Like I said, normally, because I switched it up, I did the music sesh because we were talking about Spotify. Because normally between the tech and ass of the week, I do music sesh. But this has been a dry music week, so I'm not going to even waste time because there really wasn't a lot of music that was like, ooh. Like, some stuff kind of just hit as it did, but I really didn't, like, get anything that was a wow factor.
I like Cardi B new song.
The one with Bruno?
Yeah.
Everyone's on that wave. And I will say I've listened to it. I like it. I said the same thing, and I think I even posted in saying it. I was like, Bruno's overdue for an album.
You know, Bruno Mars is Cardi B's work husband.
Okay. that Offset allows. Got it. As Offset was like, I thought the rate Offset was going, I was like, shoot, his album ain't gonna come out till the summer. Yeah. But I'm glad it did come out. Yeah, because that was a good album. I took my graphical feelings out of it when I saw the album cover and all the kids looked like they were in different locations when he took the picture. But when I saw them doing the preparation for it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. So now at our 120-minute mark, it'll probably be longer than that, 1 hour and 20 minutes, because I know I got to add all the front intro and outro. Is there anything that you want to pass along to the listeners as a message or as a thought? Or it's like passing message is always something inspirational, or it can be something transparent, like, look, stop eating, don't run for wings, something, whatever you want to share.
Live your life, be happy. I'm a outgoing person. Don't put off what you can do. If you want to go somewhere, go. Okay. If you want to travel. Don't put it off. You never know what's going to happen. Okay. That's just my take on life. Just do it.
All right. Just do it.
Oh, you like my Nike? Just do it.
Got it. I can't say nothing. I'm like,
just do it.
Yeah, I'm with it. So my past message is gonna be a two-parter. One will be because I've told a couple people, and if you get to this part of the show, great. If you didn't, hey, tough shit. You're gonna have to catch you missing out. My first message is a personal message of what I've learned from this weekend, and it's kind of tied to what you said, but it's also something that I've been doing wrong, and that is take risks. I've never been good with taking risks. This podcast, whether people realize it, or people say it to me and I'll be like, whatever. Podcasting is a risk, period. Because a lot of people don't want to do it and they find every excuse not to do it. But take risks and don't be nonchalant or passive in your life. Certain moments you literally have to be aggressive and like go for whatever that thing is that you're supposed to do. And a lot of times I've not done that and I've caught flack for it. Because when I went out of town, like that was one of the things that I had somebody really get in my head, and it kind of just made me sit back and think like, dang, I really got some stuff to work on. So that's been something that I've kind of carried as like a message the last few days, and that's kind of my future, my way of looking at stuff. Even when people try to like block you from doing stuff, you can always find workarounds. Because I'm even facing that now because I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some, I'm like, all right, cool, I got stuff I'm gonna work on, things I'm gonna do, and oh, well, you're not allowed to do those things that you're trying to do at said location because it's not allowed. And I'm just looking at him like, all right, bro, I'm gonna let you have this one, but I know the ways of the system. And plus I'm also focusing on my future, which is someone gave me a good suggestion with some branding wise, but that's another story. My second pass the message is, this is to you. One, thanks for joining the show. I appreciate you being on. I knew you'd flow with it, because when people get stories and when they do their first show, some topics not gonna really get, but if it's like that topic that they into, they're gonna show up. Showed up for the scholarship part and the grants and the loans and all that. But I knew you were gonna, like, the whole show you showed up. You gave energy, you gave input. So I appreciate and value it. My message to you with doing this and with doing the craft of podcasting is show up, like you said. A lot of times people, and do not, like, anyone listening to this show, do not take this the wrong way, because I say those disclaimers a lot constantly through the show, but this one I'm really being serious. People draw interest in doing podcasting, but don't do the work. And the work is what scares people, because they look at it as, when people hear me and they think I do a podcast, it's, oh, you just get in front of a mic and talk. Nah, there's recording, there's editing, there's social media, there's finding other articles. Like when I hit stop, I have to look for new stories to come up. And a lot of times people look at it as, because I even had someone ask me, how are you able to do shows and talk about stuff that's already happened and still get a show? And I'm like, it's doable. You just got to make it work. Because some people don't have time to sit and watch the news. So they get news through different platforms like a podcast. So show up, do your part, and everything else from that will happen in what you're trying to present with your podcast or with your brand, with that show. When I first got into it, it was like, I don't really know if it's my thing. But now, if I know it's Thursday and I'm off, or if I know it's the weekend and I need to find a show to get prepped, I throw a show together. Because I'm not going, and it's not like I throw a show together rushed. I organize it, get the whole format, and it comes together pretty good. So just do those things and utilize your resources. And that's what most people who I've known that do podcasting will do, is like they find other podcasters and get into groups. So I know it was like a 12-minute spiel of randomness information, but as I told you before, and as I'm telling anybody who does it, like, welcome to the podcast community. If you want to come on my show anytime, if you want to join in a couple Thursdays, I'm all for it. I just tell people, bring good energy, and it makes for a good show. My shows are more up, and this one was upbeat, but when I'm not in a library doing the show, all bets are off. I make sound effects. I throw everything in there. But that's all I got. Any closing remarks?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'm hoping this won't be the last show. I'm hoping that once you get everything set up for your show, I come on as a guest.
Of course. I have to have you. You're a Virgo.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be like, my podcast that I'm trying to set up is going to be, like I said, Zodiac. I'm a Gemini. Mm-hmm. So I will, every season I will have someone from that season on.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Of course, when Virgo season come in, I will have.
Up. Yeah. I'm ready. Be on Beyonce's birthday. But yeah, on that note, I know I'm giving you closing remarks. Any other closing remarks you have before we close out?
Everybody be prosperous, be happy, happy, joy.
I'm with it, no doubt. All right. Well, with that being said, keep a good energy, keep the right people around you, do the right thing. And as y'all know, you'll hear it in the intro and the outro. Leave any feedback or any suggestions on the show, because I always tell people about it, but I don't. But any comments that you can think of, it's on the Past Podcast page at the bottom. It's a big button. You can leave an iTunes review. It would definitely help make the show a better show. And on that note, we'll sign out. Catch you on the next show. Another episode is in the books. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. As I always share, if you'd like to get into podcasting, you can check out Spreaker.com. And if you're looking to invest in a microphone, or if you're looking to genuinely start with recording, I use the Blue Yeti microphone, but you may prefer to do the Samson Meteor. Just know that if it's your craft and it's something that you're meant to do it and do it well. That's my main thing to tell people about 2019. Do it and be reliable. Y'all take it easy.